Hi everyone and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel and the Take 5 art journal collaboration video for April. Today we're going to be working with prompts chosen by Sylvia at Sylvia D, and of course her link as well as all of the other ladies who take part in the Take 5 collaboration will be listed in the information box down below. I had so much fun creating this page. The prompts that Sylvia chose for us this month were definitely a little bit challenging and I tried very hard to stick to them. However, I may have loosely followed them and cheated just a little bit. So sorry Sylvia if you do catch me out. As always, starting my page, I'm using my white gesso and I'm applying a rather generous coat, making sure to use my heat tool to thoroughly dry that before we get started. Today I'm going to be using my new Distress Oxide ink sprays. I got these for my birthday from Mr. T and I really wanted to use them, and so I'm just going to open them up, shake them up and spray every single colour that I have on the page. This was my first time playing with the Distress Oxide sprays and I absolutely love them, but I did have a really hard time actually getting them to spray. I'm not sure if it's because they're a hybrid like fusion ink, if they're just new, or if it's because of my injury. I currently have a fractured humerus, so I'm having to do things very carefully. So maybe it was just I wasn't pushing properly. I don't know. Let me know down below if you've had a problem with your Distress Oxide inks as well. And if you have any tips, I would love to hear them, as I am just making a pretty mess right now with these. I absolutely love the vibrancy of the colours when these are wet. It was almost a shame to see them dry, as they do react the same as the Distress Oxide pads, so they have a chalky finish and are more pastel shades, but it was fun having to play with these, especially seeing how amazing they are. You can really move the ink around and get them to blend and mix into unique colours, so that was fun. I was having a hard time getting this to dry. It took me forever with my heat tool, so I'm just dabbing up some of the excess with some paper towel, and then I'm going back over and spraying some more of the colours which I wanted to stand out the most. I think that maybe I did use a little bit too much ink on my page, as it did take so long to dry, but I'm absolutely loving adding all of these layers. If you're wondering, the colours that I am using most often is Picked Raspberry, Fired Brick, Fossilized Amber, Mermaid Lagoon and the Faded Jeans. These are my favourites of the first release of these. I am hoping that we will get all of the distressed colours so that I can stock up on all my favourites, but these are the ones that I'm layering and repeat stamping over and over to build up the colour. So for my first prompt, which is circles, I'm taking this offcut of newspaper. I was previously making a card and doing some ink blending, and this was my backing sheet and it was just too pretty to throw away, so I decided that I would see if I could use it in my Take 5 page. I'm taking some white acrylic paint and adding it to some water so that I can make some splatters. I'm going to be using a very thin paintbrush and just flicking it off of my finger. I really struggle sometimes getting perfect splatters, so I wanted to do this to get a base that I can then add on later. I'm now going to add some bolder dots or circles, polka dots, using my little circular dot tool and that same acrylic paint. These ones are a little bit thicker so that it will stand out a little bit more. I'm then going to take my black Dilutions paint and a dry paintbrush, and I'm just going to flick that paintbrush off the edge of my page. And I'm not using a lot of paint here, and I'm not being precise. These are varying thicknesses. Some of them are thicker than others, and I really like the texture that this gives. It almost gives a frayed like burlap look to the edge, and I really like that. Once I'm finished, I'm going to use my heat tool to dry that, make sure that each layer is as dry as possible before I move on to the next step. For the next prompt, which is to add a tag, I'm going to cheat just a little bit, and instead I'm going to use this die cut embellishment, which looks a little bit like a photo strip. I'm going to be using that with some star embellishments as well. And those I'm going to be using for my add a fabric to your page prompt. I'm going to be using a puffy sticker star, a vellum star and a glittery fabric star. I'm applying some matte gel medium to the back of the newspaper circle, and then once I have that stuck down onto the page, I'm also going to use the matte gel medium to stick down those star embellishments. The puffy sticker sticks perfect and the vellum star sticks rather well, but the glittery star does tend to peel up a little bit, so I will come back to that a little later on. I'm going to just make sure that I give it as much pressure as possible by sticking the tub of matte gel medium on top, just so that I can carry on working on the page while that's sticking down. I'm then going to take my white Heidi Swap Colour Shine and I'm going to add some more splatters to my page with this. I'm not really liking the way that this did turn out. The white Heidi Swap Colour Shine is more of a sheer than a white, and so it just blended into the background and left a shiny residue. So then I'm going to go back in with my white Dylusions ink spray in white linen, and I'm going to use that to create a fine mist all over the background, and it looks much more like a galaxy now, and the splatters worked out perfectly. As you can see, I'm going back to that star embellishment by using my stapler, and I just add one staple through the middle just to make sure that it does stick onto that page and not fall off any point in my journal. I'm then going to go over the black Dylusions paint around the edge of the page just to make sure that it stands out, as when I added all of those white splatters it did dull it down a little bit. Next, I'm going on to the interesting prompt of this month, which was to write something not using your dominant hand. So I'm taking a white Sakura Jelly Roll pen and I'm just writing the words star over and over again. As I said earlier, I have got a fractured humerus, so that was definitely interesting trying to write with that hand. I've now decided that I wanted to write star with my normal hand as well, so that I have a mixture, and I also wanted to add another one of those vellum stars over the top, and I added a staple through that as well just to give some more texture and more dimension. I then decided that I would add the rest of the grey puffy stars from the sticker sheet onto the rest of the page as well, and that's actually going to be my page finished. I absolutely love this page. It's really simple, really fun just to play with products and also to test myself with the prompts that Sylvia chose. Thank you so much for the really fun prompts, Sylvia. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to check out all of the other ladies taking part in the collaboration, and all of the information if you want to join it in yourself is in the description box. I hope to see you again soon in a new video.